All right, now we're going to take a look at Always With Me, Always With You by Joe Satriani. This is a song in B major. We're going to start off with a clean guitar, which sounds like this. So this song is in 3/4 time. We have 3 beats, 3 quarter notes for every one measure. We're going to start off with this B chord. It's a B major, but with an added fourth, and looks like this. So I have the root note B on the 7th fret of the low E string, followed by B on the 9th fret of the D. Then I'm going to play on the 8th fret of the G, 5th fret of the B. Now the picking pattern with the picking hand will be the same for the entire intro. So I'll show you for this chord and it will be exactly the same for all of the chords. We're going to start off picking the low E string, followed by the D string, G string, and then we're going to come back B string, G string, D string. So the whole pattern would go like this. And that's one measure. We're going to play this first chord for 2 measures. The next chord is an E major 7 chord with an added 6th, and sounds like this. You could also refer to that chord as E major 13. We're going to start off on the low E string, and then we're going to play on the 6th fret D and G, 4th fret on the B. And with the picking pattern that we've learned, it sounds like this. Next chord, F sharp sus 4, sounds like this. So here I'm barring on the 2nd fret, and then I'm placing my 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the D, and then I put my 4th finger on the 4th fret of the G. And with the picking pattern, here's what the chord sounds like. So altogether, that's a 4 measure phrase that we're going to play 3 times. Now at this point, we're going to go to a new chord. This is a G sharp minor 7 chord with an added 4th, which we can refer to as G sharp minor 11. Sounds like this. So here I'm playing on the 4th fret of the low E, 4th fret of the D and the G string, and then 2nd fret on the B string. Back to the E major 13 chord. Back to the F sharp sus 4 chord, and the whole intro ends with an F sharp chord. So all we're going to do now is we're going to lower the 4th fret of the G string back to the 3rd fret of the G string. Same picking pattern. And there's all of the chords for the intro. So let's go back now and piece them all together. 1, 2, 3. After the intro chords, we're going to come in with the main melody of the song. This is in the key of B major, and the first phrase we're going to learn sounds like this. So we're going to start off on the B string, 4th fret to the 5th fret. Strike the 5th fret, slide up to the 7th fret. Strike the 7th fret, slide up to the 9th fret. Come back, play 7, 5, 4 to 5. Now we're going to slide from 4 up into 6 on the G string. Slide back into the 4th fret, up to the 6th fret, back to the B string now, 4th fret, slide up from 4 to 5, back down to the 4th fret, G string, 6th fret, and the phrase ends on the 4th fret of the D string. All right, moving along. Here's the second part of the intro that we're going to learn. We'll start off on the D string, play that on the 4th fret 2 times. Pivot to the 4th fret on the G. Back to the 4th fret on the D 2 times. Slide 4 to 6 on the G. Slide 6 to 8, back to 6. 4 on the G. Now a lot of notes on the B string. 4, 5, 7. Slide 7 to 9, back to 7. Now we're going to slide back into 5, slide back to 4, slide back to 2, and then slide into 4 on the G string. So once again, here's the phrase. All right, moving along. Here's the next phrase. So here we're going to play on the 4th fret of the B string, 5th fret on the B, 5 slide to 7, 7 slide into the 9th fret, 7th fret on the high E 2 times, slide 9 to 11 on the B. Now high E string, 9th fret to 12 on the B, and do those 2 notes 2 times. Now to the high E string, 9, 11. Quickly slide from 12 to 14. Back to the 11th fret. And then play on the 14th fret of the B 2 times. And then bend up a full step from the 14th fret of the B. And here's the next phrase. This lick starts off with a reverse bend. I'm going to bend up a half step on the 18th fret of the high E string before striking the note. Then I'm going to release that bend, pulling off to the 16th fret on the high E. Now play 19 on the B. And now we're going to go back to the 18th fret on the high E, bend up a half step, come back down, pull off to the 16th fret on the high E. Back to 19 on the B. 16 on the high E, 19 on the high E, bend up a full step and then come back down. And then we're going to bend up a full step from the 17th fret on the B string. So once again, here's the whole lick. Okay, moving along, here's the next lick we're going to learn. Here we're going to do some pull-offs, starting off on the 16th fret on the high E. We're going to pull off 16, 15, 14, 13, slide back to 12, slide back to 11. We don't spend too much time at that 12th fret, we just kind of get it on the way back to the 11th fret. Now 14 on the high E, pull off 12, 11 on the high E, 14 on the B. Next phrase. So here we're going to start off on the 19th fret of the high E string. Reverse bend on the 18th fret of the G, bend up a full step, and then come back down, releasing the bend. Grab 18 on the high E, 16 on the G, 16 on the high E, back to 16 on the G. Now to the B string, on the 19th fret, bend up a full step and come back down, striking the 19th fret one more time. Now at this point in the song, we're going to move to the key of B minor. We're switching from B major to B minor. The first phrase sounds like this. So we're going to start off on the 21st fret, bend up a half step, come back down, strike the 14th fret on the high E string. This is going to be a reverse bend. So we bend up a half step, release the bend, pull off to the 12th fret. 15 B, 12 high E, 15, 14, 12 on the B. Slide 15 to 17 on the high E, ending this phrase on the 14th fret. Next phrase, a lot of quick stuff, a lot of legato phrases, sounds like this. So here we're going to start off on the 9th fret of the high E. We're going to bend up a half step, back down, up a half step again, back down, pull off to the 7th fret on the high E. 10 on the B, 7 on the high E, 10, 8, 7 on the B, G string, 9, 7, 6, 7, 9, 7, 6, slide back to 4, 6, 7. A lot of numbers. Let's review this phrase so far. Continuing, on the G string, 6 to 4, D string 7, G string 4, D string 7, 5, 4, 5, 7, and just pull off and hammer on your way through that. G string 4, D string 7, 5, 4, and finally 7, 5, 4 also on the A string. And we're just going to also do pull-offs here. Here's the whole phrase once again. Okay, here's the next phrase. Starting off on the high E string, on the 21st fret, bend up a half step and back down. Back down to the D string, 7th fret, hammer on to the 9th fret. Hammer on 6, 7, 9 on the G. Hammer on 7, 8, 10 on the B. Hammer on 7, 9, 10, and then pull off 9, 7 on the high E string. Pull off 10, 8, 7 on the B string. Slide from 8 to 11 on the B string. At this point, slide up a half step to the 12th fret on the B string. Strike the 12th fret one more time. Now to the high E, bend up a half step back down. Slide back into the 11th fret on the G, and then back to the 9th fret on the A string. Now to the B string, 14th fret, bend up a half step, back down, and then to the 12th fret on the B string. To the high E string now, bend up a half step from the 14th fret. Come back down. Now we're going to play 12 on the high E string. And now we're going to descend B major. 11th fret on the high E string. 9, 7, 6. And those are all done with slides. So here's the phrase if I put those numbers together, all those notes. Now at this point in the song, we're going to go back into the main melody, but we're going to play this an octave higher from where we started. Okay, so the first part we're going to learn now sounds like this. So we're going to start off on the high E string, 11, 12, slide 12 to 14, strike the 14, slide up to 16, back to 14, 12, 11, 12. Now slide into the 14th fret on the B string. Stay on the B string, 12, 14, 16. Bend up a half step and then come back to the 16th fret. 14th fret. G string, 11th fret. This part continues. We start this phrase on the 11th fret of the G string. Now 12 on the B. Back to the 11th fret of the G. (14) on the B string. Slide 14 to 16 back to 14 on the B. Now 16, 17 on the B. To the high E string now, 14. Hammer on, 14 to 16. Back to 14. Now to the B string, 17. 16. Slide back to 14. Slide back to 12. Now we get into the tapping section. We're still in the key of B major, and what we're going to do is with the right hand, we're going to tap on the 12th fret of the B string, that's a B note, and then we're going to pull off to the open B string. And then we're going to follow that up with various notes with the left hand. So to get a handle on this, here's a good way to start. Hammer on 12th fret on the B string, pull off to the open B, and then why don't we grab the 9th fret on the B string and practice those 3 notes over and over. So it's hammer on, then pull that note off, now hammer on with the left hand. And if we just keep doing that over and over, it sounds like this. So that's the technique you need to learn in order to play this tapping section. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to call out various notes to play with the left hand because the right hand remains the same throughout the entire section. It will always be hammer on to the 12th fret, pull off to the open string. Okay, and I'm going to break this down into 3 phrases. The notes to play with the left hand, we're going to start the phrase by playing 9, 7, 9. And if we start off with the right hand, it would sound like this. All right, so there's the first 3 notes that we play with the left hand. Okay, moving along. 5, 7, 9. 7, 5, 7. 7, 7. And if we put all of that together, that'll be the first phrase we're going to learn from this tapping section. Okay, here's the next part we're going to learn. Talking about the notes with the left hand now. 11, 11. And then 9, 7, 9. 7, 5, 7. 9, 7, 5. 4. Ending the phrase 2, 2, 2. Okay, if we put all those notes together. Now the final phrase, we're breaking this down into 3 sections. The third section is identical to the second section. The only difference is instead of ending by hitting the 2nd fret on the B string 3 times, we're going to end by hitting the 5th fret on the B string 3 times. So the whole third part would sound like this. Okay, so if we put all of that together, here's the tapping section. Now we're going to have some double stops. So here we're going to start off by sliding into the 8th fret on the G, 9th fret on the B. And we're going to maintain this shape for a while. After playing that first chord shape, we're going to slide back 2 frets, slide up 2 frets, up 3 frets, up 2 frets, slide back 2 frets, and then up 2 frets again. So far we've done this. Now I'm going to play 9B along with 12 on the high E. Move this shape up 2 frets, so it'll be 11 on the B, 14 on the high E. And now move just your first finger up 1 fret, so we have 12B, 14E. All right, the madness continues in the key of B major. Our next phrase sounds like this. So here we're going to slide into the 19th fret on the high E, play 19 again, pull off to 16. Pull off 19 to 16 on the B. Bend up on the 19th fret of the high E, release the bend, and then pull off to the 16th fret. Pull off 19, 16 on the B. Now up to the 21st fret on the high E string, bend up, release the bend, pull off to the 19th fret, and finally ending on the 21st fret. Next phrase. So now we're in 4th position. We're going to start off by bending a full step from the G string on the 6th fret, and then we're going to come over, skip the B string, grab 4 on the high E string. Pull off 7 to 4 on the B string. Now bend a full step from the 6th fret on the G string, but this time we're going to grab 4 on the B string. To the G string now, pull off 7, 6, 4. All together, sounds like this. And then we repeat that. So those 2 phrases together sounds like this. Now to the D string, 6 to 4. 6 to 4, slide back to 2 on the A string. Strike the 2nd fret, slide up to the 4th fret. Not out of the woods yet. Here's the next phrase. So here I'm going to start off by playing 9 on the G and then 7 on the B, 7 on the high E. Just kind of rake quickly across those 3 strings. Slide into 11 on the high E, bend up a half step, release the bend, pull off to 9. 12B, 9E. Now pull off 12, 11, 9 on the B. Back to 11 on the B. Hammer on and pull off 9, 11, 9 on the B. Slide back to 7. Hammer on and pull off 9, 7. Slide back to 5. Strike 5 one more time and then slide into 7. All together sounds like this. And finally, this section ends with this lick. All right, so we start this lick by bending up on the 21st fret on the high E. We'll go up a full step and come back down to the 19th fret on the high E. At this point, we're going to play the 21st fret on the high E, but we're going to bend up only. We're not going to release the bend. Okay, so we put that together. It sounds like this. And we finally end this by playing a slide on the D string, 4, 6, back to 4. Okay, everybody with me so far? We're almost through it. At this point in the song, we're going to go back into the intro. So the next 16 bars are the same as the first 16 bars. Now at this point, we're going to repeat just the first line, this much of it. And then we're going to end the whole song with some legato phrases, which sound like this. Okay, so remember we're in B major now, starting off on the D string, 9, 11, 8, 9 on the G, pull off to the 8th fret, now to the D string, 11, play 9, 8, slide back to 6, hammer on 8 to 9. So far we've done this. Pull off 8 to 6, and then to the A string now, 9, 7, 6, 7, 9, all with pull-offs and hammer-ons. Back up to 6 on the D string. Now to the A string, pull off and hammer on, 9, 7, 6, 7, 9. 7, 6, slide back to 4, also on the A string. Hammer on 6, 7, 6, 4. That'll be a pull-off there. And the final lick, we just slide down to the 2nd fret on the A string. So once again, if we put all of that together. And there's Always With Me, Always With You.